And me is a man who grew up playing sports. And I have a message for the Labour Party tonight. There is going to be a rematch in the general election come 2025. And them have to get a beating. They must get a beating.
And we have been a bit cautious in putting out our ideas because we have found on multiple occasions that they tend to be appropriated by the Labour Party, and then they're so powerful in the media and their communications is so strong, it's very difficult for us to set the narrative to show that we were really the originators of that idea. And so we are trying to time our release so that we don't suffer from that.
The minister said it was an implied budget we were presenting. That's not the case. We are presenting our policy priorities for our first term in office. The minister tried to make out that what we were proposing in our presentations was an implied budget. That is not what we were doing, and we never said that we were doing that. We were putting forward our policy commitments for the first term, and the term of office is up to 5 years while we are in government. So the message is simple. The government that we have is one of gimmicks. It's one of misrepresentations. It's one of alarmists. Instead of taking the time to focus on what they could do for the people and how to make the budget work for the people, they again wanted to score headlines at the expense of the people, while the government's was a sideshow to create division and spread misinformation.
Comrades and friends, we have a work to do. This government can't deliver the change that Jamaica needs. It can't deliver the hope that the people crave for. We're going to set up housing with affordable housing for the people. We're going to set up agriculture with a new policy to support the farmers of this country. We're going to build out the logistics infrastructure so real value can be created and real wealth can be created in this country. We're going to fix the education system, starting at the source, the little pick to them, early childhood development and primary. Because when we start them right, them bright, and a great future ahead of them. And we're going to fix the training structures of the country, integrating the private sector and the state sector to train our people for the jobs of today and tomorrow and the future so that they can earn good money, providing service that the world needs, because Jamaicans are stars with us. They need to give them the opportunity and give them the support, and they will shine bright like any diamond. So people, we are on a great mission. I want to thank each and every one for coming out tonight to support this transition in a show of strength here in Central Kingston. PNP is ready, and we're coming to take back this one because we need this one to serve Jamaica and move the movement forward. Comrades, are you ready?
They made promises upon promises upon promises. But did they give the Jamaican people any idea of how much those promises would cost? No. And whether or not that they would have to cut back on something to do what they're promising? No. They said they are united with fresh ideas and solid plans, ready. But let's see if indeed that would be the case. Madam Speaker, allow me, Madam Speaker, to demonstrate to the people of Jamaica that the promises from the opposition would create FinSAC 2.0. You see, Madam Speaker, the opposition put forward a lot of words with few figures. But within all those pages and pages and pages of words is a budget, an implied budget, Madam Speaker. And it is that implied budget that I would like all Jamaicans to understand, because it has serious negative ramifications for our future. So, Madam Speaker, let's begin. Budget for fiscal year 2025-26 and the opposition's implied budget for that fiscal year as well.
Madam Speaker, I rise on a point of order because the minister is misleading the House. We did not present an implied budget for the coming fiscal year. We presented our proposals, our policy commitments for the next PNP government, and we have never said that they will be implemented in the current fiscal year. They are... As has been said, the budget, after today, the budget would have been passed for the fiscal year. Our proposals represent what we will be doing for the duration of our first term in office. And that is what we were saying. And they will all operate within the current fiscal rules. Stop misleading the House.
Pie in the sky promises, if you may. Their bombast, reckless and vulgar promises smack of political desperation and underscores considerable contempt for the Jamaican people. And it is a telling indicator, Mr. President, that the PNP cannot be trusted. This 2025-2026 budget exercise is of particular moment. It is of particular significance, Mr. President. That it is the last budget exercise before the upcoming general elections, which is constitutionally due by September of this year, means that the debate this time around is of added significance. What is it that the parliamentary opposition has sought to hide? Why did they not see it fit to come to the Jamaican people and present a budget that was at least costed, so that a determination could be readily made as to whether their pie-in-the-sky promises are in fact credible, achievable, and sustainable?
And then to you, Mr. Golding, the people were now wondering, why was this costing not added into your budget presentation as part of that budget exercise? Because as understood, it is a budget debate presentation. So why is this costing now coming to the people rather than during the actual budget debates?
Late but to reach.
So, we didn't put in costings because we didn't feel that that was necessary in the presentation itself. We weren't producing a budget. This is what I think is very important. The minister said it was an implied budget we were presenting. That's not the case. We are presenting our policy priorities for our first term in office.
And we have been a bit cautious in putting out our ideas because we have found on multiple occasions that they tend to be appropriated by the Labour Party, and then they're so powerful in the media and their communications is so strong, it's very difficult for us to set the narrative to show that we were really the originators of that idea. And so we are trying to time our release so that we don't suffer from that.
Now give Labour right no idea for keep we in the opposition. We are going to give the ideas when you have a choice to make between us and them, so you can decide that this is the party that will move the country forward and make your lives better. So tell them they must wait just a little bit longer. We don't in a whole heap of long argument with them, We not in a no whole heap of talking with them, no bag of talking. This is the settlement of all confrontation. Mr. Prime Minister, put on your green sandals, your green cloaks, your green washover boot, and call the election so that we can vote you out.
As your Prime Minister, as a politician for 27 years, treating with this issue of immediate gratification requires a special skill, especially in a competitive democracy where your psychological disposition for immediate gratification can be hijacked and used for political gain by simply making a promise that when we win, or if you vote for me, I'll go and give you heaven. I'll go and fix every road, feed every child in school, remove tax from every business. I'm going to give every young person a subsidy for a deposit on a home. There are some other ones. I don't remember all of them. And it sounds good, and even persons in this room say, yes, I like that. And indeed, that has been the nature of our politics. But something has happened in Jamaica in 2025. It may have escaped you. You may not have recognized it. But something has changed in Jamaica. For the first time, promises that were made by politicians were costed. A price was put on it. Because for too long in our economic history, and indeed our social history and in the development of the country, our electorate has never really asked our politicians to price or cost the promises that they make. Because we want the satisfaction now, we accept anything that is told to us. But in this last budget, a price was placed on every promise that was made. And it was not just in the budget, but there is an institutional change that has happened in our country, and I'm certain it has passed most of the persons here. But Jamaica now has something called a fiscal commission. How many of you heard about that? It means that the days of impractical promises that would easily catch the eye of the unsuspecting voter, the days of politicians being able to ride on the psychological need for immediate gratification by making empty promises, those days are over. By the clap, I can tell that there are some people who want those days to continue. But an important part of the transformation of Jamaica is the institution of the Fiscal Commission. So what the Fiscal Commission does, its role is to ensure that governments follow the fiscal rules that are in place, meaning we can't run a deficit more than a certain percentage of GDP. We have to stick to our commitments to reducing borrowing. So the Fiscal Commission essentially polices what the government will spend on. But it also has the ability to price or cost any other proposed spending either by the government or the opposition. So there is an independent body that could very well say what is being proposed doesn't make sense. In our last budget, several proposals were made, and the Minister of Finance costed it and showed that those promises didn't make sense. Couldn't be financed. Would wreck the budget. I'm speaking to an audience of business people. And therefore, I'm certain that you immediately appreciate the point that I'm making. The development of this country cannot be made on empty promises. You can't come to Parliament and make promises, and then when tackled, you get up and say, it was not my intention that these would be implemented. In effect, empty promise. Jamaica has changed. For the first time, promises were costed. The public can see what promises make sense and what does not make sense.